this year, there will be both a federal budget and a federal election as well, a little bit later in the year. Philip La Greca from SuperConcepts has joined me to discuss what we might expect from these two significant events. Hi, Philip.
Nice to see you again, Darren.
Well, the budget is being handed down in March, I believe. And if we start with that, are you expecting any significant superannuation measures to be announced?
Well, we hope that we'll see them actually confirm and maybe even table some drafts around things that they've announced today that we haven't got process on. So there's a few little measures, certainly for the SMSF space, that we're looking on, particularly the legacy pension questions. There's two there that we're sort of waiting on. One is this commutation of excess market linked pensions, and then there's the amnesty that they've talked about at last year's budget. So we're hoping that we at least see a firm affirmation on those.
And if we extend your forecast at the moment out to the election, are you getting any indication that there may be superannuation issues to discuss before we go to the voting booths?
I think the government's agenda is fairly well done. Most of what they've attempted to do or have done during the last few years has been responses to the Productivity Commission report. So, they've tackled the issues about, duplicate insurance, excessive numbers of, duplicate accounts, and underperformance with the recent, Your Super, Your Future tests. So in terms of big ticket items, that's, I think, done. What there is probably is there's some maybe tidying up. So, as the government likes this idea of reduction of red tape. So there may be some measures around that. But yes, I can't imagine we're going to see any massive changes, certainly not for the SMSF space. There may be still a few little tweaks at the APRA fund space, particularly, I guess, with things like the issues recently about penalties for APRA funds and, this idea of reserving. I think, in fact, we just saw one fund today got a $20 million fine.
Yes, indeed. Now, a little bit earlier, you did mention the addressing of legacy pensions. Obviously, that hasn't been passed into law yet. If it doesn't get passed into law before the election, are you seeing any effect that might have if we do have a change of government?
Well, I think the thing is, it is an issue that Treasury has been aware of. So this is not just the government issue, it is a Treasury issue. The question will be, what's the appetite for getting it dealt with if there is a change of government? And I guess that will depend on the agenda from if we have a change of government, will the Labor Party see this as a key super issue that they want to address? Again, I don't think they've got a lot of SMSF issues they want to deal with. Is there some stuff that, they might want to get about information? That's probably the biggest thing I think the industry has to deal with, is the dichotomy in reporting between the APRA funds and the SMSF funds. And as a regulator and the government, have you accurately plan and policy set when 25% of the market doesn't tell you information till 12 months after the event?
Yeah, definitely issues to be resolved there. How about the residency rules? Is there likely to be any sort of urgency or non-urgency around that if we do have a change of government?
It's probably one we would like to see. I think there's probably bipartisan support on that particular issue, because they do recognise that, we have a mobile workforce, which is really where and also, to be honest, the test, the active member test. So remember, there's two parts to the residency changes. There's the 2 to 5 year measure, and there's the removal of the active member test. Because the active member test is really a bit discriminatory, because it doesn't say you can't contribute while you're overseas. It just says you can only contribute to some funds. So I think, from that viewpoint, I see that potentially being something that's an easy fix, irrespective of that. Unfortunately, again, one of the problems we haven't got is with both the legacy pension and those changes, we actually haven't even got drafts. So some of the things we've got drafts for, but these are measures that we don't even have drafts. So that's where I think, we really would have liked some more progress. And maybe that's something that they can drop, even if they just drop a consultation paper, at least then it gives us positions. I think from the legacy pension, people will still try to do some remedial work around that, particularly with the reserves and the surpluses that are in those reserves for the defined benefit legacy pensions. But other pensions, I think, will probably wait till the law is finalised.
Thanks, Philip, for sharing those insights. The budget will have been handed down and the election will have taken place by the time we host the Self-Managed Super SMSF Professionals Day for 2022, which will be on the 31st of May. So Philip will be discussing what the actual implications of these two events really are at that stage. But if you want to find out more or register for the event, just reference the details that are on your screen now. Look, thanks again, Philip, for your time today, and I look forward to discussing the budget and the election further with you in May.
Always a pleasure, Darren.